Good morning and welcome to the program Perspectives. Perspectives. This morning we'll be looking at the Minister of Transportation and what he had said about Nigeria and of course the parties too. We do know that the APC and the ruling party, the PDP, are just about the parties that we all recognize today. The PDP in the opposition and of course the APC, the ruling party. Rotimi Amici had come to say that corruption as it is quietly done in this administration. That things are just not going right. And for the political elites, he said that it would be just a matter of time before they get chased out by the poor. And all of this would mean that if leadership fails to play its role properly, it might get the sack of the masses or the poor. And that has generated a lot of talks. The PDP, with its publicity secretary, had reacted on that. That's talking about Kola Ologbondiyan, had come to say that this just proves the opposition party right, that things are just not going well with the ruling party, the APC, that corruption as it is now is on the high. And, what about the ruling party? What had it told the Nigerians at the time it was, coming into power? It had said that it would deal with the issues of corruption, insecurity would be a thing of the past, and that our youths will be gainfully employed. How this has played out is your guess could just be as good as mine. But these are the matters, coming out in the fall in Nigeria today, and we're talking about it. People are talking about it. This administration and what it had come with. Recall again that the supervisor of the elections of the 2015, Atahiru Jega, had come out in the open to say that people should just not vote for the APC again, that it had failed Nigeria. And of course, for Atahiru Jega, we do know that he is in the PRP today. What about others, that had come to say that the ruling party had failed the people? Wow, these are all matters of opinion of people. My guest this morning, and I'm expecting that he'll be in the studios any moment from now, is Vincent Budam. Vincent Budam is a public affairs analyst, and together we'll be looking at what Rotimi Amici, the transportation minister, or Minister of Transportation, had said about the ruling party. That corruption is quietly done with this administration, and it had not gone under. And so we're taking it. That's coming from, a strong man of the APC who had come to say that. Okay, of course, we're looking at it and coming out with issues about it. And any moment from now, my guest, Vincent Budam, will join me in the studios here. But before then, let's just go for a break. Welcome back from that musical break. I'm glad to announce that my guest is already seated and we can go on with our discussion today. And Vincent Budam, Chancellor, Gurara Forum and Public Affairs Analyst, is my guest on the program this morning. And just like I said, before my guest came into the studios, that we're looking at the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amici, what he had said about the ruling party, that corruption is just quietly done with this party. It had not gone under. It's just that it's been quietly done. And for that, Kola Ologbondiyan, National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, had taken him on that Rotimi Amici had just, sanctioned or, his party, and has come to say that not even with the PDP is corruption done the way it's been done now. And so it puts the blame on the ruling party, the APC. And of course, Rotimi had also said that the elites should just be careful that they've moved to Abuja now, and the poor are getting angry. And of course, when they get real angry, they might have to come, after them. And so with what is playing out and what we do know, recall that Atahiru Jega, the supervisor of the elections of 2015, had, come out to say that Nigerians should not vote for the ruling party now, the APC, because of corruption and all it had said that it would do for the people, talking about insecurity and all of have employment for teeming youth, all of that, he said had not been done. And so as we speak today, Terry Jiga is with the PRP. A call again that Oshomole, the national chairman, then former national chairman of the APC, had come to say that join the ruling party, the APC, and have your sins forgiven. Now, that's, Nigerians are recalling all of that. And so the choices are here with us as we come look forward to 2023. What are choices that you have to make, and what are the comparisons to make with what had happened with the PDP and what is happening now with the APC? Listen, Bodam, good morning and glad to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and I just gave a picture, an overview of what this discussion would just be about. But that's coming from Rotimi Amici, the strong man of the APC. What are you making out of it?
Well, thank you so much. This, I think, is a very interesting topic. Rotimi Amici is, like we all know, a loose cannon. And right now, Rotimi Amici is the only notable member of the member of the PDP back then that is in the APC. He's all alone, a man walking in the wilderness. We all know that the strong formation of the APC today is the CPC, former CPC, and the ACN. Those who came powerfully into the APC in 2015 or 2014 have left from the PDP, only him remaining. So he has no choice but to speak it out the way it is. There's something we call stealing by proxy. You don't have to steal directly, but people around you are stealing and you're not doing anything about it. Or rather, you are just watching it happen. He knows what's going on. He's an insider. He knows all the rules that are being passed around in the government. And if it's coming from him, I have no reason to doubt him. I think he has stated it the way it is. People are out there siphoning money, stealing so much money, and acting as if, what they say in Pidgin, chop and clean mouth. That's what's going on. I have seen through Buhari, the president, that whenever he's in control, things go all right. If you remember, in 1984, he was the head of state, yes, but he wasn't really in control. It was late Tunde Idi Agbon that was in full control of the situation at that time. Then we now came during the Abacha era, and he was made chairman of the PTF. We all know that he was not in control. It was.
These are just subject to your own opinion.
Of course, you can afford to argue it out if you want, but let's face it, he wasn't in control. It was the APC, that's the Afri Consortium. I can't remember the name of the company, that were actually in control of the happenings at PTF then at the time. And now that he has decided to do it all alone, we're seeing how things are going. People stealing and claiming they are not thieves, and those who have stolen are forced to join the party. If not, your sins will, like Ashomali said, your sins will be exposed. But you see, it's only God that forgives sins, not man. So what he's saying is he's just saying it because it's his time. But we know that it will come to a point when he will swallow his words. At this time, it's unfortunate what's going on in the country. Corruption is in fact, on the corruption index, Nigeria has risen from the former position it was back in 2015. So those who are putting these things together know what's going on. They ask questions from people inside government, and they get their facts right, and they do the index. And I know that Nigeria is not doing any better than it was in 2015. So now, like you rightly pointed out in your summary, you pointed out that this government came with some promises. They promised to give us security, to improve the economy, to fight corruption, and to make life generally better for Nigerians. I can tell you that we would like to go back to 2015 at this point, because frankly,
you would like to go back to 2015?
Of course. Go to the streets and ask questions. Why would you want to rather be in 2015 or 2021?
Yeah, and this is why, maybe take it on this, that Nigerians now have choices to make as we get ready for 2023.
Yeah.
And the choices are just there. Who would you rather have? And of course, we're not yet done with the parties that can come, even before 2023. So for Nigerians, choices to make.
Yeah.
What are the things to look out for in making your choices?
We want to look at somebody who has a pedigree of success. somebody who has done well in his businesses or his life, who will translate his successes into government. It's not because you stage a coup and then you forced. I remember in 1984, we were just growing up in Kaduna. My mother would go out to look for sugar to come and put in our tea from morning till about 4 p.m. because there was nothing out there. People had to close shop because government of the day at that time was forcing them to close or force them to sell at the price by far lower than what they bought the items for. So they had to hide their items. Government now came out to say that they will sell the things themselves. But of course they couldn't. People suffered. So when I see people rooting for somebody like this, I just laugh. Were you alive in 1984? Were you born then? Were you aware
about the individual or, what the party, had come up to present? Yes,
of course. That's why we call it a deception. People were deceived in 2015. People thought, oh, come on, PDP has had too much of the slice. Now let's try somebody else. I wouldn't blame them at that time because, of course, when you're tired of something, you want to have a change to see if it was going to, if it can be better than what you have. Well, I can tell you it was a huge, grave mistake. Because right now, is it security you're talking about? We hardly sleep with our eyes closed. Is it the economy? My brother, what we used to buy, in fact, whenever I bring out money and I give my wife to go to the market, she comes out and says, these are the items she got for 30,000, and I'm like, are you kidding me? She said she's not kidding me. Then we sit down and we analyze what 20,000 naira or 30,000 naira used to do for us in 2015. My brother, is like 60% less. And that's really, really bad. It shows somebody is not in control.
16 years of the last administration, and Nigerians had it that bad.
I don't think so. I can argue this out.
If not that bad, how could they have sacked the government that was there then?
Of course, they thought when you come, it's like a suitor. A lady is going out with somebody, she's not so happy with him because she feels he's not doing what she expects. Then somebody comes with so much promises. She might want to dump the other one. And when she goes in there, she finds out that, look, I made a huge mistake. That's what happened to Nigerians in 2015. And even Amechi himself. I'm very sure Amechi wants to get out of this quagmire he has found himself in. But, of course, he has to start talking like this in order to justify his future actions, which we all anticipate already.
When I talk about choices to make for Nigerians as we march towards 2023, I'm looking at individuals, I'm looking at parties and what they had to offer. Some people would say that you could just not separate the ruling party now and the party that was then.
Yeah.
And so Nigerians will be looking at... so how do you get the people the right choices, the right people that will give you just what
I just made an analogy here. If you have a pedigree of success, you could translate it into your government. I don't want to name names. Because you told me, you warned me that
yes,
more about politics here.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to name names, but Nigerians have to shine their eyes in the local parlance. That look, this man has been doing well where he was before now. So we think he can do well here. It has happened before with so many other leaders.
I thought we saw that with other leaders in the past too.
In this country?
In this country too.
No, we've
never had leaders.
We've never had such leaders who have a pedigree of success and then come into rule. Most people who are doing well in their businesses hardly want to join politics. They hardly want to join politics because, of course, Nigerians have this impression about politics as being dirty. So most people don't want to soil their hands. But I think it's a wrong notion that we have. I think the right thinking people should start thinking about joining politics because politicians are the ones that actually determine what happens in a society. So if we allow people with dirty or what would I say, silly backgrounds to come to join politics and we expect them to do well when we're kidding ourselves.
Let's go back. And when I say go back, let's look at 2019 and what we had then.
Yeah.
The third force was said to be a strong force that can come and make a difference in politics, and of course...
It didn't materialize.
It didn't materialize. And we had people that we would say had strong voices, people who had careers that Nigerians could trust and hold on to, but all of that did not work.
Yeah.
So for Nigerians,
that's why
is it about again, you have to look at it, religion, ethnicity, divides, what it had done to us too.
Yeah, those factors have really done a lot of harm to the country and our psyche. Sometimes you know that in your heart, in your mind, that this person who does not belong to your ethnicity or your religion is a lot better than this person you're presenting. But because of those factors,
can we get over that?
Frankly, maybe not in this generation, my brother. Because if you look at it, it's even getting worse. Especially when somebody gets into office, all he thinks about is how can I put my own people, whether they are good or bad, in those places that are very important to the country. That is why we have these agitations all over right now in the country. People feel that there's too much nepotism, putting round pegs in square holes, and ignoring a section of the country totally as if they are second-class citizens in the country. That, of course, can agitate a lot of emotions. That is why we're seeing IPOB rising. That's why we're seeing somebody like Sunday Igboho from nowhere, making so much noise and all that. I expect government at this time, Mr. T, to have what we call a roundtable talk with all these people. Trying to use armed twisting tactics will not work. It has never worked anywhere in the world. What you do is you sit. Let me hear you out. It happened during Yaradua, when militants were disturbing the economy all over, blowing up installations and all that. What did he do? He brought them over to Asura, sat with them, and had a talk. And after that, everything went down. That's what I expect somebody like the president to do. But you can see that he doesn't even have Council of State meetings anymore. He wants to do it all alone. He's the God Nigeria has been looking for. Look at what the God is doing. So we have a huge problem on our hands. Nigerians, like I said, must shine their eyes and try and see that, look, let's forget integrity. It doesn't work anywhere. It's not your integrity is your problem between you and your God. It's not what the country is seeking for. We're looking for capable hands. Somebody who has the ability and the capability to take us out of the woods. Not somebody who will come with a toga of integrity. It has no bearing whatsoever in governance. People don't understand that. And the earlier we understand this, the better for us. All right? So I believe in my little thinking that Nigerians have to sit down and look at a particular person and say, look, we believe this man can take us there. Not about ethnicity, not about religion, which has done us too. I mean, Nigerians, if we have any brains at all, we should start looking at those things and say, look, we've been sticking with this thing. It has not worked. Doing the same thing over the years and expecting different results, that's silly. So we need to do something different. Jega was saying PDP, APC people, parties, shouldn't be voted. He is presenting his PRP because he is also coming with an integrity toga. That's what he's coming with. And we've been beaten by integrity already.
Let's look at men from the ivory tower. Yes. These are people that will say think tanks, that they have it.
In the class, you mean?
Well, again, that some people should be brought to the fore, in terms of talking about how Nigeria can work. But we've seen that again without people who just, they've all rocked the boat too. And that won't work for us.
No, you see, people who are in the class basically are theorists. They just give you the theories, you write them down, and then you step out. What happens practically on the streets is completely and totally different from what happens in the class. You and I have been to the university. We know that what we've been taught in class, in our books, is not exactly what's happening in the streets. You have to apply street wisdom in governance. It's very important and necessary. You can't be in an enclave and come out. That's why most soldiers, like even the president, they've been living in the barracks all through, and then suddenly they step out into the civilian world. It's a larger and more complex world out there. So you need to have all those little tricks about the streets for you to do well as somebody in government. It's very important. So when people from the ivory tower make noise, I just laugh. They're always in campus talking to students and thinking that what they're saying is what people are thinking out there. It's not, my brother. It's a whole lot of difference out there. So people from the ivory tower, if you are there, you just remain there. And if you can give your theoretical advice, good and fine. He gave us Buhari in 2015, whether by hook or crook he did. And I'm sure in his mind it was the integrity toga that he was happy about. Now he's disappointed just like you and me.
No,
he is disappointed, Mr. T.
You are on your own. Yeah.
If he wasn't disappointed, he wouldn't step out to say, "Look, I want to try my luck too."
What's happening to us as a people?
I don't know. I wish I can place my finger on it. Nigerians have got it wrong for too long, and there's no sign that they intend to change. No sign at all. If anything, things are getting worse. I simply don't understand why we're like this. I think we're not talking. We're not talking to each other. We're just being hypocritical. Look at what happened in Jos recently. You know, when those people came from Bauchi, they were said to be Muslims. And then what happened was unfortunate. They were killed by some miscreants. And there was so much noise. And noise was because they said they were a set of Muslims. What difference does it make between what happened in Jos by the Irigwe youths and a group of people sleeping in their room at night, and then some people come innocently and wipe them out? For me, there's no difference. So if you're making so much noise over here, why are you not making noise about this one here? No, Mr. T, tell me what the difference is. What is the difference between somebody traveling in a bus and is hacked because it's an innocent citizen, hacked to death, and somebody who is sleeping in his house, on his hut in the village, and somebody comes in to wipe them out, burn them sometimes in their rooms? What is the difference? But you hear people making so much noise over here and keeping mute here. So that is the hypocrisy I'm talking about. Unless and until when something goes wrong, everybody comes out. Christians and Muslims shout when Muslims are killed. Christians and Muslims shout when Christians are killed. We won't get it right. We have a problem, and it's very fundamental. Yes.
The program is Perspectives, and it's coming to you on Invicta 98.9. And we're sharing thoughts with Vincent Bodam, Chancellor, Gurara Forum, and Public Affairs Analyst. We'll go for a commercial break. Be back shortly.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Welcome back. It's the program Perspectives, and it's coming to you on Invicta 98.9. And we're looking at, just taking a look at the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amici, and what he had said about his party, that corruption is on the quiet, been done in the quiet way with this administration. And so, confirming, as scholar, Olobodin of the PDP had said that it confirms, that this administration is not, solving or taking care of the issue of corruption with us. Vincent, this word just came, and it's the word selective.
Yeah.
That justice is selective in Nigeria, appointment is selective, being Nigerian is also selective. How do we get rid of that word selective in matters of governance?
Well, it's all about matter of the mind. If you decide that it's only the people that are good enough, then there's nothing you can do about being selective. You will be selective. So selectiveness, like you are trying to say, is nepotism in a country with a diverse culture like we have in Nigeria. A lot of people, especially in some sections, feel alienated in governance, and they feel that they're not carried along. They've been it's like a bus moving, and then you throw people out of the bus, leaving a few inside. So that's what selectiveness is all about, and it's corruption too, whether you want to look at it from any angle or not. The fact of the matter is, if you have been elected into an office that expects you to take care of the populace, you are not supposed in any way. Even the Constitution takes care of that. You are supposed to make sure that what goes on must go around equally. That's it. It's the Commonwealth. So positions, appointments, resources are supposed to be equitably distributed. But once for instance, I see arguments on some social media platforms where they now give you a list of positions and appointments and claiming that lots of those appointments are coming from the south or to the south. But when you look at the appointments, it's okay to give me an appointment, but of what effect is that appointment? Do you understand? there are appointments that you know that these are people who make decisions. These are people with the resources. And then you now realize that a certain set of people are the ones hanging around there. And then the crumbs are being spread all around. You are going to feel bad. It's like sitting on a table and somebody has a full chicken and you're giving a lap. Do you think you'll be happy? You won't be happy. So that's what's going on in the country. And then some people are saying, why are they making noise? They will make noise because they are Nigerians. They have every right every other Nigerian has, and therefore they must be given the respect that any other Nigerian deserves. So selectiveness is a very dangerous precedence in our governance. If you are a leader, you must be seen clearly to be unbiased and unprejudiced. But once you show those signs, people are going to make noise. They are going to make your government difficult for you. That's true. But once you spread it, you're going to shut a lot of people up. So Amaechi is correct in so many ways, you know, when he says corruption is going on. He might not want to say these things, but we know what is in his mind. And if I was him...
And also the body language of Amaechi, does it in any way signify, you know, that we may just be seeing, you know, defection, wanting out of the party. But
of course, he has always been somebody who has never hidden his intentions. Remember when he had issues with the first lady back then? She's from Okrika, the same state as he. But he had issues with her, and he extended the problems to her husband, who was the president then, Goodluck Jonathan. And as chairman of Governors Forum, he gave him some real tough time. He made his government very, very uncomfortable for him. That's the kind of person he is. And when he left PDP, he moved with a lot of resources. He virtually took care of the APC campaign organization. He was the DG, if I remember clearly. And he pumped a lot of resources. We all know this. And he got what he got at the end of the day. But I can tell you now, if you sit quietly or privately with him, he's going to say to you so many things, you'll be shocked.
Let me come with the word honor.
Yeah.
Honorable men would not stay where, you know, you find dirt around them.
There's no honor amongst thieves.
That's it. And so, with what is playing out with politics in Nigeria, and we find it's never been in the book where we see defection. All that happens, you know, cross-carpeting and all of that happens. But, you know, in a government where one finds that things are just not being done with the way the books say it, and then saying that, look, I honorably want to resign. We don't see that.
It's not a Nigerian action, resigning. I've realized that so many things have happened. Somebody will be complaining when you're sitting with him privately, but you see him back in his office the next day. You keep wondering, why is he going back there? Because we have decided to make politics all in all. And that is very dangerous. You must have something to fall back to. So if you do have something to fall back to, you can walk out of an office, a political office, at any time. And that is why, because we don't have that kind of culture, people sit in an office and they're grumbling and complaining, but still you see them there. And it doesn't all go well for our polity. No, because a country where politics gives you more dividends than business and other private sector moves, then there's a problem. We have to make it very unattractive so that when you go there and you're not happy, you just walk out. And this movement, this idea of politicians jumping ship at will, for me, is corruption too. If a party, if you get elected on the platform of a party and you want to opt out, please drop your office and go back to the party and go and seek election there. But the constitution is silent, I think, about that kind of thing. And that's why politicians, if Buni, the interim chairman of APC, rushes and says, Oga, see, this is what APC said about you. What do you think? But if you come to APC, they will cover it for you. The next day you see somebody raising the flag and saying, yes, jump ship. It's so unfortunate. We know what's going on. But then, for how long can you run? You're going to tire out. So even if you move over to the APC, so what? At the point, they will still go back to those things you did and still fish you out.
Let me come to representatives of the people. I'm talking about people that have been elected to represent, you know, the people.
Yes.
And that's talking about the National Assembly too.
Yeah.
And what they're giving out to Nigerians. Nigerians now, for example, feel, not really,
That's the Yoruba Stamp National Assembly.
I don't get on that.
It's a National Assembly. The Ninth Assembly has disappointed a lot of us. Anything that comes from the executive is passed in no time. You don't even debate it. You don't even allow people to raise voices about it. That's what's going on. Every executive bill has been passed without any form of resistance at the National Assembly. That's why people are calling it a Yoruba Stamp Assembly.
That goes with the state assemblies too.
Especially Kaduna.
No,
it's like we don't even have a state house of assembly in Kaduna. We don't. They hardly sit. They hardly debate. Nothing. I have friends in the House of Assembly. And I ask them, why don't you make noise? What noise can you make? A house that has the power to suspend an elected official and bring it back whenever they feel like. And they will sack you without even paying you salary. I don't know why the constitution is that loose. How can me, who was elected, be sacked by somebody else who was also elected from his constituency and get away with it? In fact, the member we have from Kaura local government, he died sometime last year. In 2017, they were suspended from the house, himself and the mom from Zangon Kataf. Without salary, without anything, they were left out in the cold because they raised a dissenting voice in the house. That was a crime. As if that is not the essence of you being there. I mean, it's so funny. It's like people are just looking for a job and they get a job and they go there and they get paid and get allowances. They have forgotten the fundamental reason for being there. You are going there to raise dust when dust is supposed to be raised. You are going there to make laws for the people that will all go well for the society. Not to just sit down there and once a bill comes from the governor, you stamp it and it's all over. You don't do that. And when you want to raise a voice, you say, shut up or you get out. They'll keep you out there, they'll lock you out without salary, without pay, till when they deem fit to have you back. In his own case, the late member, until he left, he was never brought back. He went to court, the court said, take him back, they refused. So, I don't understand what kind of constitution we are. That's why a lot of people are saying, amend this constitution. Amend it. It needs a lot of amendments. Yes. In fact, this immunity clause should be kicked out. That's why a governor or a president can do as he pleases, as if he's running his home and she goes away with it. It shouldn't be like that. People need to be protected too, not just those officials. Yes.
The program is Perspectives, and we're talking about what is happening with matters of governance. And of course, Rotimi Amici raised dust, by his comments on corruption quietly taking place with this administration. Now, that's calling for, Nigerians talking about it. And, again, the body language of Amici in all of these, we're yet to know. But join the conversation on 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989. Hello, good morning.
God bless you.
Hello. We're having problems with your line there. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chalabi.
Okay, good morning, yes.
Engineer Emmanuel.
Engineer Emmanuel, all right.
Yeah, the guest has spoken very well as a true Nigeria. I think God bless him this morning. You see, PDP has once more been vindicated because I said this over and over that corruption under this administration is worse than that of PDP. Because even PDP time, things are more easier. And easier, people can eat 3 square meals. This administration that came with the mantras of change, now they say next level. I often tell them whenever I have an opportunity that this administration just came to inflict pain on the masses, and the masses can bear witness on that. Now look at the rate of corruption. Now, Mr. Swanabi, ask your guest, what happened with the case of Magu? All the money he has recovered. Once upon a time, they asked him to give proper accountability of the amount. They were telling us the house, one of the data house, caught fire.
They couldn't.
They could not. Now that the presidential panel that was set, he was trying to point some high profile. Now that case has died, and they say they are fighting corruption. Now, all this one that is where that is the acting chairman. Now, all those that is bringing, they know that they have one allegation or the other. Now, what they are looking get into is either you join us or EFCC come after you, and they have no choice than to go after to jump ship, just like other Moshimole say. It's not unfortunate. So you need somebody that has Nigeria attack, not the one that does the people wow. I'm not getting
that. Engineer Emmanuel, I didn't get that last bit of it, but again, you said something about corruption, that corruption worse than what it was like in the last administration. But we're talking about corruption, whether, on what scale you put it. I mean, corruption is corruption.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so...
But why do we have an index? Some countries are more corrupt than others. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
The more corrupt the country is, the more poor it is. Nigeria has no business with poverty. We don't actually. But because of corruption, we have a high scale poverty level in this country. I understand that, of course, people, especially the downtrodden, they like to beg. So when they beg these big people all the time, these people need to siphon money in order to. But it's because the law is quiet about you stealing money and getting away with it. Yes, all these laws you are seeing, just like Amici claimed, people are actually stealing money. And those who are supposed to know. That's the truth. And they're not doing anything about it. If you embarrass 1 or 2 or 3 officials, everybody will take dressing, like the soldiers would say. You will go back to your cocoon. Because if I know that you're stealing and nothing's happening to you, I will do the same. That's what's happening in this country.
Say with more calls. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Hello, good morning, Mr.
Good morning, yes.
And good morning to your guest.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my name is Musa. I'm calling from Nuada.
Musa?
Your guest has spoken excellently well. And as a matter of fact, I am totally disappointed in this government. I'm not a politician. But in the last election, I had to come out because I was convinced that Buhari was going to do well. But unfortunately, the reverse is the case. I'm totally disappointed. The stealing in this administration is far more than the previous administration. Sincerely speaking, I'm just said it all.
We're not justifying stealing, are we, Musa?
Sorry?
We're not justifying stealing, because when you say stealing in this administration worse than what it was in the last administration, I'm just wondering, are we justifying stealing?
I don't think he is.
I'm not justifying stealing. What I'm trying to say
on the scale that
they accused the last administration that they looted the treasury. They are looting here. They are looting now is more than the previous administration. That's what I'm saying. And sincerely speaking, we are totally disappointed.
Okay, let's leave it. Disappointed.
So that is just the bottom line. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Musa. We'll take one more call. Come back to our guest. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sonia Aladi.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guest.
Thank you, sir.
Pius is calling you from Malali this morning.
Pius, yes.
I will just take on the selective appointment. Please, I would like to urge all our politicians, they should begin to put the interests of this nation at heart, so that the right people should be at places at all the times. By so doing, we are going to get it right. They should ensure equity, fair play, and justice is done to everyone in this country. By so doing, we are going to get it right. Not that if you want your party to win election, you will go up condemning the other party or the other people. But by the time that an opportunity is given to you, you will now do the worst. So please, all Nigeria is our nation, and the project Nigeria is the task that everybody supposed to put in his own front to see that we at least bring a good and better Nigeria for our children. That is my take.
Okay.
Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. Pius. Okay. You had them, Vincent.
Yes.
So all of them, and the last line.
Do you know Nigeria has never borrowed money like no? We're borrowing money in trillions and trillions and trillions of still borrowing. In fact, even the finance minister has cautioned the government, look, too much borrowing. So where's the money going? They borrow money even from the pension board. Yes, they collected money from there. They put money hand in every pie to collect money. They say they are doing projects. My brother, show me the projects. If you look at the projects on the ground that I know, it's not in any way commensurate with the borrowing that we've been doing lately. We are trillions and trillions naira in debt, home and abroad. So, if you say there is no corruption, we shall find out in 2023. My brother, you will be shocked what you see. A lot of heads will roll. Amechi knows what he's saying.
Would that be your last line?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, and that would just be about the size of it on the program Perspectives today. Vincent Bodam, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Vincent Bodam there, Chancellor Gurara Forum and public affairs analyst, sharing thoughts with us on the dust that's been raised by the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amici, on corruption really going on and quietly too. And of course, we all do know that that was on what the ruling party ruled on by sacking the last administration. So your thoughts here too. Well, we'll come back with Perspectives tomorrow. Job Daniels, thank you for connecting with us with the people. And Wisdom, thank you for putting us in the pictures. And our intern in the studio, thank you for being part of it. We'll come back with Perspectives tomorrow. Good morning.